morning, good evening, whatever time it is for you, wherever you are in the world. I'm so grateful. This is, I think, my 8th episode, and even if no one's listening to it, I think it's fantastic that it's out in the world, that there's a story being shared in a vulnerable format on a platform that just allows anyone in the world that wants to hear it. And I think that that's a beautiful thing. I just got back from vacation, or from what I thought would be vacation, but it ended up being a whole series of lessons and experiences in Toronto, Northern Ontario in Canada, with my family. It was one of the most incredible trips I've ever had, and it didn't come without great difficulty. And by that, I mean I learned some very difficult lessons while I was there. I learned some very beautiful lessons, but I learned some very difficult ones as well. While I was there, I spent some time with my family when I first got there, and to hear them talk about me like they're proud of me is a whole new thing for me. You know, they tell their friends about me, they talk openly about my addiction, and they talk openly about me being in prison and the things I do for the homeless and the things I do for people in the world. And that right there, when I felt that was a whole new feeling for me, because it's been 2.5 years since I practiced a way of life of not staying within an emotional trauma that had me use addiction to distract from processing that trauma. So I've practiced a way of life for 2.5 years, and it's brought me to this present moment where I've since gone back to my family, and now they're speaking about me. They're so proud of the man that I've become. And that was really different for me. I observed it. I actually was aware of the way they were talking about me and encouraging others to listen and share into my story. And I thought, wow, like, that's new. That's new for me. And it was really amazing. It was really beautiful. The feeling that can come through that after so much heartache, you know, I put my family through hell. That's the thing with addiction. The distraction of addiction affects those that you love as well. You know, we use the drugs or alcohol or whatever it may be to damage ourselves, but the people that love you get damaged in that process as well. And that was very difficult for my family. I made it very difficult for them. I constantly called them for money to enable my habit, and because they had love for me and they thought that would help and they thought that would show love, they gave me the money. And that caused a lot of problems for my family. But here we are, 2.5 years after practicing a certain way of life, and it's just incredible to be in the place that I am, observing my family like as a family member. You know, I'm a family member. I'm a part of these people's lives that we had so much heartache in. And that was very beautiful. And I remember just kind of standing back, seeing the smiles on my parents' face and seeing how happy they were, because I'd put so much work into myself that radiated to them. They didn't do nothing for me. You know, I had to do all the work myself. I had to practice that behavior within myself and process those emotional traumas. But I saw the results of that in my family. So that's a really cool thing to talk about. Like, when you do the work on the inside of yourself, you can see it affect those around you. And it was special. It was a really cool moment to enjoy that. And it was a flood of emotions for me to come back to that. Like to be, you know, I observed myself from where I was to where I am. Now, your journey doesn't have to be about addiction. Really, what I'm just trying to show you is that when you make a change, or you decide to do something different in your life because you're tired of being in a certain place and not growing, and you make change and you put the work in, this is where you can go. A lot of people are afraid to practice a different way of life because the things they know, the patterns they've created in their life, they're comfortable in, even if they're detrimental to their personal growth, because more often than not they are, because that's what keeps them in the same place. It's a repetitive cycle of comforts and complacencies. And when we break free from that, when we try something new, a lot of people are afraid to do that. That's okay, but be aware enough that you need to have courage and bravery in this life to push forward and try new things. And will they be difficult in the beginning? Absolutely, they will be difficult in the beginning, because you have practiced a certain pattern of behaviors for quite some time. And when you practice thought process behaviors, they're ingrained within your subconscious. Like, it becomes a part of your identity. It becomes a defense mechanism. These pattern of thinking that don't support the higher evolution to higher self. right? That's how we want to go from where we are stuck in our lives to that place of pure love and joy. That's an evolution to the higher self. The things that I talk about are a way to see the path to get there. You have to follow your own path and you have to do the work. But many of us that offer tools of guidance can help you get there. I mean, for me, I only speak from my experiences and my journey of being a drug addict for 23 years, homeless for many years, in prison for a while, and coming from literally nothing when I got out of prison, and then putting my entire life back together in 2.5 years because I practiced a certain way of life. If that's not inspiration for you to know that you can do anything in your life, that's why we offer these tools of guidance, is to inspire you, to show you that you can do anything. The power of love and the power of the practice of life will have you go from one place to another very quickly if you value it. That's another thing. We're so good at making excuses as to why we can't do things because we've practiced that pattern of behavior, that thinking that we don't need to practice anything new, or we'll do it later. If you want something bad enough, and you're tired of being in the same place, going nowhere, without any love, without any inspiration, without any passion, then the attention to detail that will come through this practice and the value that you will place in it will become priceless to your evolution because you will see results. I am proof of what the practice looks like. Just 2.5 years later, I'm a completely different human. I look younger, I feel younger, I'm in the best shape of my life. Inside, I constantly grow through lessons and experiences that are still on my journey. And even when they're difficult, they're so beautiful. I'm so grateful for them because I'm able to view the lesson inside of it. I can detach from the emotion and see what it's there to do for me, not to me. There's no blame or victim mentality here with the practice. It's all observation, it's an awareness, and it's mindfulness. So the observation of life is a big part of the practice. It's when we see the things that don't align with our higher self. It's when we're able to become aware of the things that we do and the thoughts that we have that aren't serving the evolution to the higher self. Self-abuse through words, through thoughts, holding ourselves back, not speaking our truths. These are all really difficult things that we do very commonly because it becomes normal to us. Even though they're detrimental to our growth, we've practiced them so many times that that's become normal to us. So the observation of that will have us become aware that we need to do something about it. And when we're aware that we need to do something about it, we can become mindful as to how to practice a new way of life. Because let's be real, you're reprogramming your brain. The learned behaviors that you have learned up until this point where you're ready to do something different are very deep inside of you and they're ingrained. It's a part of who you are. You just have to accept that. It's a big part of the evolution. The first 7 episodes will help you to gain an understanding of what you need to do throughout the practice, because that's basically what it is the first 7 episodes talk about the awareness through the avenues of how to get to the practice. And then the practice is where you put all 7 episodes together. So I would encourage you to do that. But accepting that you have taught yourself many bad behaviors along your journey is a great way to start. And I mean, I had to do the same thing. 23 years of addiction, man, you learn some bad behaviors. You do a lot of things that are not normal in that life, right? I mean, even practicing not making money, practicing not being a part of a community, practicing not speaking my truth and lying all the time. With my addiction, I basically lied to myself, obviously, but to everyone else as well. I was constantly pretending that everything was okay, pretending to be happy, pretending to be somebody I wasn't. And that's an association for you right there. Because when I hit my rock bottom, I was tired of pretending. Certainly I was tired of using the drugs, but more so I was tired of pretending. I just wanted to love myself. And I was just so tired of pretending to myself that everything was okay. Because I practiced that behavior. That's what got me to that point. I think about the people that go through their whole life and they get to the destination and they've practiced that behavior of pretending that everything's okay, not speaking their truths. And I'm going to be honest with you, that breaks my heart. It's sad to think about that because life is so beautiful. It's so much more than money. It's so much more than titles. It's so much more than materialism. It's so much more This practice that I'm speaking of will bring you to a place of love and light, a self-love understanding, not something that somebody told you love is. It's something you understand on your own because you're going to do the work within you and you're going to figure out who you are. That's what we're doing here. We are practicing learning about who we are and discovering ourselves on our own terms, not through the eyes of someone else and not through the dictation of how other people tell us how to feel or other outlets tell us how to feel. You're going to figure that out on your own, and you're going to make mistakes along the way, and that's okay because you're going to learn from it. And then you're going to apply that lesson into the journey as you continue forward, because a lesson not learned will be repeated. And many people make excuses, which is why they keep going around in circles. And that's a big part of what you're trying to get out of, is going around in circles. It's because you're not learning from the lesson. A lesson not learned will be repeated. It's a wonderful thing to observe and to think about it, to become aware of, right? Becoming mindful of that so that you can learn from it, apply that to the practice and move forward. When I apply something, when I say something that doesn't align with me or I do something that doesn't align with me, I allow it because it already happened. I don't hold on to anything from that experience or memory. I allow it because it's a part of it. It's out in the world. It was there to teach me something. So I look at it just like that. I look at what I said or what I did that didn't align with who I am, and I go, okay, yeah, that happened. Next time I'm in a situation like that, I'm going to be different. And you know what? I practice it because I become mindful of what I'd done or what I'd said. And that's really important to appreciate that. Like, it's okay. There's no manual for life, right? Like, there's no rules. It's all lessons and experiences, and all choices have consequences. So some difficult, some positive, but beautiful. All of it beautiful because it's going to teach you something. And usually through the most difficult lessons, we learn the greatest things. They stay with us the longest because we struggled through it. And that's another thing. Like, struggling is okay. Struggling through inner work is totally okay because the results of that struggle are going to be priceless. They will change you for the rest of your life into the person that you want to be and the person you value. I mean, think about that. Free from judgment, free from division, free from self-sabotage, like an inner standing. That word inner standing is such a beautiful word because I know it now. Like, I've come to understand what that means, to know yourself from within. And I still practice. You're never exempt from the practice. This carries with you right until the end. So that's another key piece of information, that the practice never ends. But as you evolve, you become more aware, you observe more, and you become more mindful. And it's within the practice of mindfulness that you're able to elevate even higher and higher because you've taught yourself so many wonderful things that align with this higher self that you're trying to be. You start to achieve it. And that is a very beautiful thing. That's when you will break free from everything that holds you back. And I'll tell you, with this practice, the first thing you have to do is get rid of the television. There cannot be any more television. I know that that's difficult because you've practiced that behavior for quite some time. And it's just a part of life. It's become so normal to be stuck on television, but you have to start to learn to think for yourself. And when we start to learn to think for ourselves, that we're able to become aware of things and observe life. Rather than pushing through life, you're going to flow through life. And think of that, like just think about that. You could push through something or you can flow with it. Oh man, the poetry and the flow is a beautiful thing. I'm going to tell you, you feel like dancing all the time. And I'm serious, you do. Because it's a vibrational frequency. You know, you tuned into something. You're part of something. And it's so beautiful when you can flow with things, right? Everyone's just trying to push through and get through, struggle through. It's just a manipulation of the mind that we've been taught that this is how we're going to make it. This is what we got to do. And that's reality, something I have to accept because I cannot change it. But you can. You can change it. You really can if you value it. And I mean, let me tell you about practicing something so beautiful in life, practicing a way of love. It just brings you with so many beautiful people. It's such an incredible part of the journey to practice ways of love. Your entire being will change. All of the people that you know around you that don't align with this higher purpose will change. That's something we need to talk about. When you are ready to practice a new way of life, a big part of the evolution will come through the people that surround you, because you will want to be around people that support this evolution, that really want to obtain self-love and understand it, not from a judgment perspective or an external perspective, but people that are comfortable talking about how they evolved on the inside, the work that they had done on the inside. It's really important to be a part of that and to grow with those people around you, because that's when you start to have a community. Like, a lot of people say I got so many friends, but like, a friend checks on you. You know, a friend is someone you can call at 4:00 in the morning without a question and ask for anything, and they'll do it. Now tell me, how many friends do you have that you can seriously rely on to do that? That's a deep question. That's not one that just gets answered in 30 seconds or 5 seconds. It's something that comes with an understanding. I have a couple that I can do that with today. Today I know what it means to be a friend. I never did before. I didn't know what it meant to be a friend. I didn't have many. I knew a lot of people, but I didn't have many friends. But I wasn't a good one, because I wasn't the man that I wanted to be. I wasn't honest, I wasn't authentic, and I didn't do things from a place of love. Like, it doesn't mean that I wasn't kind, because I was kind. But what it means to be a friend is so much more. It's like a brother, or a sister. Like, that's what a friend is. You step up for that individual. You'll be there for them. You'll have their back for anything and everything. And you can openly communicate and have honest and authentic conversations about things that are difficult conversations. How many friends can you do that with and not get any judgment or have them have a worry that they'll go and speak about something to someone else? These are very important tools in the practice to be aware of, because your friends can offer perspective when you're stuck in a certain pattern of thinking. And I always say to everyone, if you are stuck with anything along this journey, my email is realtalkforanunrealworld@gmail.com. You can email me with questions, and I will try and help you get through whatever you need to get through, right? By that, I mean, I'll offer perspective, usually from my experiences, and just offer guidance. What you do with the information is up to you, because I can't change you. I can't make you do anything. But if anyone is struggling and they need help with something, please reach out to me. That's a very real thing. But yeah, having the people around you, a support system that align with honesty and authenticity, people that you can share yourself with, that's huge. Like, you've got to really be aware of that. Now, I know when I'm speaking about this, you're questioning it right now. You're thinking about your relationship and whether or not you can even do that with someone you might have married or someone that you share space with in a home. Question that right now. Take a moment to think about that. Are you able to be honest and authentic and have difficult conversations with your loved one? Are you able to speak your truth honestly and authentically? Speak your truth honestly and authentically. A big part of why we're in places where we just keep repeating the same mistakes over and over is because we don't speak our truth. A big part of the practice is speaking our truth. And when we speak our truth, we speak that to ourselves first, because that's that little voice inside of you that wants to speak out loud when something doesn't align, or when we do something that doesn't align with ourselves. That's that inner voice, that inner child that's trying to tell you, hey, that's not who we are, that's not what we're about. But we've taught ourselves to distract from that and not listen to that. So that is what speaking your truth is all about. It's actually listening to the voice inside. That's the heart mind. That's where the inner child lives. It lives in the mind and the heart, because that's where the higher self comes from, a place of love. So a big part of the practice is observing that, being aware and being mindful of what doesn't align with you, that voice inside, and recognizing it and building a relationship with that again. That's what self-love is. Self-love is a big part of listening to yourself on the inside and then sharing that in the external world from a place of kindness and honesty and authenticity and love. It doesn't have to be judgment or emotion like frustration that comes with speaking your truth. No. But having difficult conversations from a place of love are an absolute requirement in life. It's just a part of it. It's just the way it is. Except we're just so afraid to affect anyone's feelings because we don't want to deal with the consequence of that. But you know what? That is what holds us back. Not speaking our truth, not walking our own journey. We're not hurting people by speaking our truth. That's not what it is. Rather, you're growing. You're growing from within. You're learning to become confident within yourself and your decisions and learn about who you are. If you see something in the world that doesn't align with you, but you say nothing about it, you're not speaking your truth. And you have to practice that, because the emotions and the detriments that hold us back, we take home and we bury it. And then we bury it through distractions by watching television or shopping or eating or video games or sex or whatever it may be. This is how we've arrived there, by not speaking our truth. This is the practice. Becoming aware and mindful of the importance of this and taking back your life for you. Because I'll tell you, the people that love you, they want that. Because that's what love is. Love wants the encouragement of every individual to grow into their higher self, because we are individuals, a part of a collective consciousness. We are all connected to each other, but we must first connect with ourselves. And that's how the practice unfolds. It's within. The journey is within. It's not on the out. The external world is there to distract you. So anything materialism, jobs, money, all of this is to distract you from your power that you hold within. But by practicing this way of life, you will come into your power. I did. Many others have as well. And I just want to take everything inside of me and give it to you. And I mean that. Like, I'm not lonely anymore because I found people like me. But there's many of my brothers and sisters out there who are stuck. And I want to help you get back to that place of love and light, because if you can take anything from these podcasts, know that I have something. And I achieved it. I got out of prison and I was homeless. I literally had to go back and live in a drug house after 23 years of drug addiction. I got out of jail, I was homeless, and I went back to the drug house and I said no. I was done. And I picked myself up and I put myself back together in 2.5 years. Did it very quickly, because I was done with that way of life. I made a choice to love myself and to learn about life on my terms, because no longer was I going to be held back into a repetitive cycle of making the same mistake over and over and over again. Heroin for me was the thing that held me back, kept me going in that emotional traumatic experience. So I surfaced those emotional traumas and I looked at them and I faced them and I forgave myself for all of that, and I forgave everyone else who did anything or affected me along my journey. But I didn't just forgive to say it because it sounded good. No. I meant it, and I processed it, and I let it go. And that's a big part of forgiveness, is you let it go. There is no revisiting things. If we forgive, and we let go. We don't forgive and forget, because it's a part of us. We learned from that. That's what forgiveness is the observation of the experience, and the lesson has then been given. And with the lesson, we're able to forgive and allow and move forward. I mean, that's what we're doing here. We're moving forward in life. We're not going backwards. That's what the practice does. The practice gets you moving forward. And I want everyone to move forward. I mean, I don't want you staying stale, but if you're listening to this, or you're probably looking for something more in life. And I'm so proud of you, and I appreciate you so much. Anyone listening to anything I have to say and is inspired by anything I have to say, you have no idea what that means to me. Because I just look at my life. My whole trip home taught me about where I was to where I am. It's so beautiful. Something I did on my trip that I'll share with you is I went into the tent city, which I'm sure you're all aware of. If you're listening to this, we all know what a tent city is these days. It's a place where people have significantly less. There's emotional traumas happening, or there's poverty, or whatever it may be. But I went back to the tent city that I used to live in the city that my drug addiction blossomed from. I spent a large portion of my time in that city. And I loaded the car up with cases of water, with clean boxers. I went and bought a bunch of clean boxers, boxer shorts, underwear for men and women, and socks for both men and women. And I went and I handed them out to these individuals that I used to know. And when I pulled in there, it wasn't long before somebody recognized me. Actually, it was right away. And they couldn't believe. I could see them take a second look at me, at the light I had become, because I looked at them and they'd gotten a whole lot worse. And it shattered me for a moment, because I thought of myself, if I was still doing this, I'd probably be dead or I would be looking like I was dead, because that distraction of addiction is hard on the body, it's hard on the mind, and it's hard on the soul, because we are so hard on the body and hard on the mind and hard on the soul as addicts. It's just a constant behavior of self-abuse. Then others started to come up to me as I walked around as well through the tents, offering what I had to those. And they couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe that that individual was looking at them. It was very beautiful, don't get me wrong, but I questioned, like, why me? Why did I get out? Why was I able to process my emotional trauma? Why wasn't I in a tent by them? I probably wouldn't even had a tent. I probably would have sold it. Why wasn't I in that community of people? Why was I out of it? Why was I doing what I was doing now? How did I get there? They wanted to know the same thing. And it was through an immense amount of practice. And it was through the choice of wanting to do and be something different. I gave a lot of love and light to those individuals that I met, and I shared wisdom of how I came through to the other side. And I saw in their faces as to how happy they were for me, but also how curious they were about how I could do it, because my addiction was very heavy. I put everything inside of a needle for 15 years, and the level of addiction with the needle is just a little more severe, as it's more intense in withdrawal because of the way the body craves it. So when you're in addiction, there isn't levels, but there is. And mine was heavy. I made it that way. But I got free from it. And your journey may not be addicted to something. Your journey just may be pretending about not loving yourself, or about pretending to not be happy. That makes you and me one and the same. And I want you to practice a new way of life. Because if you can look at my life like those people did, you can see the change that you can have. You won't need medications. You won't need skin creams. None of this stuff matters, because you will feel so good on the inside that it'll radiate on the outside. You will become who you are meant to be, because it'll be someone you want to be. And you'll hold your head high, and you'll walk proud, and you will share all the education through all the difficult lessons that you went through to others that are experiencing the same things that you went through, because that's what life is. It's sharing those lessons and experiences with others that really allows us to grow, really allows us to see the value in the darkness, the beauty in the darkness. That's where you find it. It's when we share it with other people. That's why I do this. I do this because I can't go through all of the addiction and all the emotional traumas and all the bad behaviors that I taught myself and not talk about it. I mean, I freed myself, and I want you to know that you can too. And that's how we can share. That's how we grow. That's what community is. That's what connection is. That's what this is. That's how we grow from each other. That's why people get inspired by other people. It's because they want to learn something from what they went through. But you apply that into your own life, because your journey is different than mine. There may be some things that I'm saying that you can relate to. Wonderful. Now apply the things that I'm saying in your own way to your life, and practice a new way of life, a new behavior, and become the person that you've always wanted to be, and value that and give it solid attention. Thank you so much for listening to this today. I feel really great. I feel like I'm growing and I'm getting better at this, and I appreciate you for listening to this in the beginning as we grow and as we continue to share and learn about new things, because I'm just getting started here with all this, and I'm really grateful for anyone listening to this. And please be kind to yourself and appreciate yourself for being ready to listen to advice or guidance on how to grow from a place that you're stuck in to somewhere new. Appreciate yourself for that. Be kind to yourself. See the positives within the negatives, Life's a dream when you're ready to live one, It really is. You make it a reality. It's just such a cool thing. And I really appreciate you for being ready to do that. So thank you. My social media is Real Talk for an Unreal World. That's the YouTube, the Facebook, and the Instagram. My Twitter is Real Talk, 4 Unreal. And my email is realtalkforanunrealworld@gmail.com. Please feel free to email me any questions and concerns, comments, whatever you've got going on. I'm here for you. I'm a real human doing real things, and I'm just getting started. So much love to all of you for being here and listening and being a part of this journey. I really appreciate it. Next week, we're going to talk about boundaries. That's what we're going to talk about next week. We're going to get there I'm going to help you understand what helped me grow more within my practice. So everything that we talk about from here is just the evolution, right? And setting boundaries is definitely one that was one of the best things that I ever did, because it was not selfish. It was a requirement for my personal growth. So much love. I really appreciate all of you. Thank you.